There we go. Whoop. Circle buddy. So, circle buddy. You saying hi, buddy? You say hi to the people, buddy? Oh, yes. You said the hi, buddy. I know it's your buddy. Okay. All right, welcome to another shop stream. Had a few more things to do tonight, and so I thought we'd just go ahead and do this again. We'll check on the, if you happen to tune in last night, we'll check in with the progress and continue going on the phase 2 that I started plugging last night. Then I'm going to get my UFO alert back in fighting shape. I think I was showing you last night with the Fate, got kind of tracked out. So I'm going to get the thing back in fighting shape here. Also going to re-slug a couple of Angel's balls. And then I need to do the same thing to my Absolute with the thumb hole that I did with the other ones. Get that black tape out of the back there. Replace the piece of white tape. It's gotten a little sticky, so open it up a little bit. And then the fingers have gotten a little tight, so open those up too. So a little bit of everything. And I am going to, that's the other thing, to show everybody the next thing that pro shops are going to hate me for. So I call it the triangle oval. So maybe we'll just go on ahead and do that first if you happen to show up here early, or if you're watching this later as a video. I'll go on ahead and do that first, and we'll talk about that, because that's something that I have done for a few customers before that either have weird shaped thumbs or that have arthritis or whatever else. And so if that sounds interesting, this is a different take on something. It's not necessarily difficult to do, but there are some difficulties presented with it. So basically what it is a normal oval.
Give me that one, I'll just, because you're not going to do anything with that one, so I'll put it up.
A normal oval is where you drill the thumb hole and then you incrementally move the table that you drill on here. So that's what these cranks are for. So you can keep this in the same place, but you can move the ball back and forth. This is how you change pitches and how you move the ball while you're drilling an oval. So I'm going to find a junk ball here.
Your old mix is down there?
Yep.
Yours? Yeah, I think that's...
So I've got an old junk ball here. This is the best ball. This is the best thing to do sometimes, is test out different fits and whatever else. So if you've got something, even if it's cracked, what you can, if you're testing out a new fit or something, maybe your pro shop would drill it into, because it's hard to feel on that fitting ball. So drilling the fit actually into a ball that you can hold sometimes is a lot more helpful than trying to change stuff on a fitting ball.
Puppy's hungry. Feed the puppies.
So again, what's different about a triangle oval as opposed to a normal oval is I do an oval for Angel. She's got a 45-degree oval angle. So what happens is you drill the hole right in the center, and then you gradually, whichever direction you go, whether it's this direction, or if somebody's got a different type of oval, basically you then move the press a little bit at a time. So you just shave out a little bit here, and then you shave out a little bit more, depending on how wide the oval is. And so you end up with a hole that is wider than it is front to back. So that's how you kind of make an oval and form fit somebody's thumb. However, what I do for the triangle oval is you make your cuts going this way to begin with. But then sometimes for people that makes it still, they've got maybe a knob on the back of their thumb, or they've got arthritis or something like that. And so it's fine. It feels fine side to side, but it's still too tight front to back. Well, then if you use a bigger bit size, then all of a sudden it's just too big all the way around. So I started doing this years. I mean, it's probably been 10 years ago. But what I would do is I would make a couple cuts this direction, then I would make a couple cuts back this direction, and then I would, even it up coming back up this direction. So what that does is it ovals it both front to back and side to side, but without making it either a larger, rounder hole. So this will accommodate width side to side, and a knob on the back side of the knuckle or something. It gives a little bit of relief to the back side of the knuckle over here, because if the front side of your thumb is still flat, you still want that kind of edge right there. You want it to accommodate for the width of your thumb, but then maybe a knot, knob, whatever else on the back side of your thumb. And that's just not possible to do any other way without doing what I call this triangle oval. So, and I'm going to exaggerate it just a little bit, just so that so it's easier to see. Sorry for the camera shaking. All right. All right, let's do it up here. I don't know why. All right, so I'm going to use Angel's bit because it'll show better. No, not yet. All right, so we're going to start drilling. I will stop and gradually explain things as we go. So I'm going to make 5 cuts. Normally, most ovals are 1, 2, or 3 cuts. It's weird for them to be more. That if they're more, that means that you've got a flatter or really, really wide thumb. Angel has 3 cuts. She's got a 45-degree oval angle, which is fairly standard. So, we have here is I did the hole, and then you saw me gradually moving the press to create the oval. So now the hole is wider than it is front to back. And so you do it kind of gradually. You can see that there's just a little bit of a lip there, but that's why you do it gradually. Once somebody gets done drilling the thumb hole, they'll put a buzzer down there and buzz a little bit to kind of even that out. But that's why you go so slowly on the oval width, because you will get ridges like ruffles. So what we're going to do now so say that this is okay, so it's fine side to side, but front to back it's still a little bit too tight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back this direction with the cuts to open up the back side of this. This is still going to leave the front side fairly flat. It's going to leave the width the same, but we're just going to get a little bit more room on the very back side of the thumb.
What's your storm dog?
How you doing, buddy? So all I'm going to do is just take this back the opposite direction as slowly as I went the other direction. I'm just not going to move it front to back at all either, because as you're doing the oval, if I just move it side to side, it's going to come this way. It's not going to come back this way. So that's why I moved it an equal amount, both back and sideways, to get it to cut at an angle.
Keep the questions coming. He will go back and catch up after he's done.
How you doing, buddy? Now I'm going to step it back up just to kind of even that side up. What, buddy? And then I don't have to make the final cut back this other direction because that takes us to the original hole. So, thank you, buddy. So, what we have here now, as I think you can see, is we've got a hole that is ovaled. You're gonna have to hold this.
Yes. Okay.
We're murdering people's. All right, well, hold it over the.
That one?
Huh? Yeah.
I can barely see the angle, sorry.
Yeah. So you can see that we've got oval from side to side, but we also have ovaled it a little bit this way too. So it will give you some relief on the back side of your knuckle while still keeping the front side of this flat so that it's not. Some people that have a knot on their knuckle either have to have some wild things done, or the hole just has to be too big, or they have to try to form fit it some type of weird way with tape or something. But this technique gives a little bit of relief on the back side of the thumb while still giving you an oval and still leaving it flat on the front side of the hole. All right, I'm gonna take it off and come over here.
Your mic keeps flipping down. You might have to put it on your t-shirt.
Well, what? Oh. So now the issues with this, it's not that difficult to do. So now you can see it, again, it kind of, on the front side, and then it gives relief to the back side of the knuckle, so it form fits the thumb a little bit better, because when you're looking at your thumb, most of the time, it's flat. You know, it's flat on the bottom here, it's a little bit wider on the sides, and then you've got just a little bit of a ridge for the back of your knuckle. So if they did this for everybody, this would fit, because that's the main complaint for people that use ovals, is just like, well, yeah, as soon as I get it wide enough to fit the width of my thumb, then that front side's so flat that it's hard to get my thumb, you know, get my thumb over the front side, and so then you have to do some weird things with bevel on the front side of it. But this gives you a little bit of clearance again in the back so that you can clear the thumb instead of it being so tight front to back. Now the problem with this is you can't, it's difficult to bevel. I actually have to bevel this with a Dremel. So, Dremel. Because if you try to bevel it with a regular disc sander, especially the bigger the hole gets, this is not a round, it's a triangle hole that you're trying to bevel with something round, and it just does not work. It's the same issue with trying to bevel a really wide oval. Sometimes it just doesn't work. So I have to make sure that it's an even amount of bevel all the way around so it doesn't really get it on some sides and not get it on other sides. I have to use a Dremel and do it by hand going all the way around, and that can, if you do it from ball to ball to ball, it can be a little inconsistent. No matter how good somebody is, it can make it a little inconsistent. Another thing is too, if you don't use switch grips or something, there's no way for any other shop to replicate this. You know, it's just if you walk in and you say, hey, I need a ball drilled and I have a triangle oval, they're gonna look at you funny, and then you're just not gonna get anything done. So you'd have to have one of the interchangeable thumb systems and have a shop that knows how to do this, do it for you, and just, so that way you could actually have something drilled somewhere else. If you're at a tournament, you're at nationals, whatever else. Let me see, what was the other, there were a couple other difficulties.
Would pitches play into factor?
No, pitches don't factor in so much. It does, if you have to do a little bit of math. If you do not have a 45-degree oval angle, once you do the cuts this way, then when you go to do the cuts back that way, if it's like a 35 or a 45, instead of being able to come 45 down this way and go straight back this way, you have to do a little bit of math to figure out exactly what you're gonna do. Because you're gonna have to go back a little bit, but you're also gonna have to go up a little bit, or, you know, forward a little bit. And so with a 45-degree oval angle, it's super easy. With something else, you have to do the math, that's a little tricky. The other thing is they don't make molds like this. So you have to kind of guess at what somebody's thumb is going to end up at. Now, a really good pro shop can do it. And again, if you have a junk ball, you can do it a couple times. If you can at least get close and say, hey, this fits side to side, generally fits, but it's a little tight on the back, then you can probably go with that. It wasn't too hard. It hasn't been too difficult to get to the final product with the people that I've done it for, but there is no specific mold for this because they're all either round molds or oval molds to put on like a fitting ball. So those are the challenges with getting this done, and some operators may not understand what you're getting at. They may not feel comfortable doing it. They may not know how to do it. They should know how to do it if it's like a regular oval. I mean, it's just like a regular oval, except you go back and then you go up again. So but it's not something that's out there. So that is my demo on the triangle oval. Once again, I've used this for people that either have abnormal shape. The first person I did it for had arthritis, and nobody else could get her a thumb hole that would fit. And so I came up with this. I'm like, well, if I could find a way. At first, I was like trying to use the sander to bevel it out, and I'm like, well, this is going to make the entire hole too big. And then I tried to use one of those draw tools that have the disc on the end and on the rod, and then you just kind of pull with it. And then I tried to use one of the rasps, which just it's that rough rod that you just kind of ram in there back and forth. But it's all manual hand tooling every single ball. And so I thought, it's like, well, if I could just drill, I thought, okay, well, I'll go on ahead and drill her hole, and then I'll just, go back to that spot and drill a little extra out. And then I'm like, well, that's going to leave ridges from here and ridges from here. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to oval it that direction. So I thought, okay, well, she's got a 45-degree oval angle. I'll just, instead of, I'll just go straight back this way, and then I'll come down from the top, and I'm like, oh, I can just do it all in one swoop. And so that's just kind of how I continually thought through how to do it on the press instead of having to...
Was this Elsie?
Huh?
Was this Elsie?
No, I think I did it for Elsie too. It was Pearl Hafner.
Oh, I didn't know she had also. Elsie, I know, I've seen Elsie's thumb. Oh,
Yeah,
Lord.
I did it for Elsie.
These are some senior bowlers.
Yep. So, anyway, any questions or interesting or who's got the oval thumb? Well, Angel has an oval thumb. Sorry about these lights. Those might be...
Every time you move in front of them, it auto adjusts.
Yeah, I know. But, yeah, it's a whole lot easier to see what's on the screen. So, I might just leave them off. So anyway, yeah, thumb molds are helpful, but the problem is with those is some people don't like the way that they feel.
The texture, right? Or...
Yeah, it's a texture thing with the material used for the molds. So sometimes listening to ball drilling talks make me feel like I'm in AP Physics. Yeah. Just joined. I had to click after seeing the honey badger teal. Yep, we are going to re-slug the HBT here in a minute. Using an oval, how do you measure the pitches? It's not it's not really too bad. You can measure the pitches just the same. Yeah. There's nothing. Using an oval doesn't mess with measuring pitches at all. Two things I mentioned in the past. I would send you beers for the shows in the past. Heck yeah. Just send me a message on Facebook. And can I talk about the clone from Roto? I don't have it, and they haven't announced it yet. So as far as we know, it's on the USB-C approved list and nothing else. I think it's fairly, that's kind of why I'm being a little proactive and getting our UFO alerts back in shape, because just looking at it, it's called the clone, it's got a UFO face in the logo. It has to be an alert.
Please let it be.
It has to be an alert remake. It has to be, because the pros all really liked it.
Yeah.
This is one of those that Darren Tang said was one of the daddy balls on tour a year or so ago or whatever. Belmo's used it quite a bit. They still keep using it, but they can't, they had to discontinue them, and so they don't have them anymore. And so I think that this was another ball, again, that nobody was really interested in, but people started using it. It's like, holy crap, this is almost like an asymmetric IQ Tour Pearl or something. So this was a very, very good ball. So I'm going to leave this up here for a second. Like I had said, this is kind of tracked out. So the last couple times I've used it's been a little flat, and I haven't used it a whole lot. And so what can happen is sometimes if you use a ball and it just kind of stops hooking or gets lazy and you go put it in the closet and then you bring it out 3 months later and it hooks off the planet, that usually means it's got too much, it's absorbed a lot of oil. So it's just, you need to get an oil extraction done. However, the flip side happens if you let a ball sit too long. The outer, it's one of those things where it's kind of hard to explain, but if it doesn't get used, the outside is just not warmed up, so to speak. It's almost like this is not what actually happens, but it's almost like it gets kind of like a little hard on the outside, and so you just gotta, freshen it up. It's like when pitchers get a new baseball and they sit there and they kind of work it with their hands. It's just to warm up, work up, loosen up the cover a little bit to get so that they can get some tack. And I think that what happens if it sits too long, just the outer, the very outside part of the ball just gets a little hard or firm or something. Call me crazy if you want to. I'm going to go put this on the resurfacing machine, and we're going to do the same thing we did to the Fate last night, and then I'll get into doing some of this other stuff. I think the next thing we're going to do is get this phase 2 going again. So I will be back in a minute.
Are you done with your triangle?
I was going to leave it there for a second in case anybody had any more questions.
Oh, okay. I'll leave it on the bench then.
Down to the resurfacing machine on 1000 grit on my diamond dust pads. Leave it on there for about 10 minutes. So the phase 2, remember what I had said, I poured half of it. Here's what we poured last night. It's hard. So we've got now in here, you can see how it's shiny in there. So what I'm going to do you go give me that flashlight again?
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill back into this because while the plug is going to adhere pretty well to the side walls of the ball, it doesn't really like to grab onto the slick surfaces. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill this down a little bit again, and then so it can grip on all sides, everything. So that's what we ended up with. It's maybe too much light, I don't know. But I think we got pretty close on the plug match, and it was really difficult to see last night. Sometimes the colors don't come through the phone very well. Like I had a heck of a time trying to show people pictures of the Idol Cosmos because it just does not look in a photo anything like what it looks like in person. The colors are totally different. So the color went in that we did last night, and it looks really good. So back to the drill press. I'm just going to line it back up again. Go down just a little bit, just enough to kind of freshen the top of it up. And this isn't completely necessary, but I am going to go on ahead and line it up and set the pitches back right again and everything. Because I'm anal.
I think you're supposed to say perfectionist. I think you're supposed to say the other word. Or at least the 12-year-olds will start giggling.
Yeah.
You come inside, puppies. You all done? Yeah. What'd you think?
You done, Measle Dog? You playing?
They were just hanging out.
Whoop.
Curtis L asked if you used quick plug in the bottom ever.
No, I mean it's not a bad suggestion. Because it would let you get to work, let you plug it quicker, get to work quicker. But quick plug gets very hot, sets very quick. I don't generally like it. If you're going to drill back into the ball in that plug, I wouldn't recommend it.
And this was just the top, right?
Yeah.
That was all you were doing.
Yep. I just wanted to freshen up the top, and it is still a little soft. So, but flashlight.
Oh, by your laptop.
So, it is just the top. Like I said, I'm just trying to fresh it up, and it gets some grain back in it, so the plug will want to stick to everything all the way around. And I'd say that's a pretty solid color match too. So, I don't know what it looks like on the screen, but it looks virtually identical in person. So.
Actually, it looks kind of color matched, but it just looks more blue on the camera than it does purple.
Yeah.
You know, the lights will have to be on so he can see what he's doing. So.
Not necessarily. Maybe
Well, if I drop it down, it's not gonna.
Let me get this light. Oh, this light sucks. This light needs new batteries.
Yeah. Is that the AA or AAA?
The AAA's, I'm pretty sure. You just screw the bottom off.
Okay. Take this off.
Use this one.
I'll be back.
Okay. All right. And then this will be ready. Normally this has like a 12 to 20 hour cure time. However, I've gotten the best results out of it giving it a full 2 days. Because while it's hard enough to work with, I find that it cuts better, finishes better if you just give it a full 2 days. If you cut it a little too quick, then I have had it shrink still just a little bit more on me, and it has been just soft enough to where it doesn't want to finish quite right. And so giving it the full days just lets it get hard, period. And then I can go on ahead and it cuts easier, it finishes better. All right, so I want this. I found out last night that I want it pretty well opaque. Just that pretty well flat color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the storm red and blue, because these are just flat, dark, dense colors. And then if I need to deepen, I found it more difficult last night to brighten the color up, because the vice pigments are really dark. And so you usually have to get those brightened back up. The storm pigments start fairly bright. So, and because purple is not purple.
Oh, I put the batteries on and that was just somehow.
Oh, well, you might have put them back in the wrong orientation. It should have pluses and minuses on the end of the cells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So, I also found out last night, well, we know that storm purple is not purple, number one. Storm purple is kind of like a grayish something. So, I'm making this with red and blue, which makes purple, but it makes actual purple. And like I said last night, there's sometimes you can tell whether a color is that actual color or whether it's a combination of two other colors that make that color. In this case, this purple here is kind of on the bluish side of purple, but I can clearly see the blue and the purple, or the blue and the red, rather than purple. Because that makes sense. Oh, that'll work. There we go. So, this is what we're looking at. It's kind of hard to see, but that looks close. And then, of course, I'll have the final product for everybody to see also. We might do another one of these on Wednesday night, and I'll finish it up.
Get your light glasses out.
Yeah. So in this, I used about twice the amount of blue as I used red, and I'll probably have to add... No, we're pretty close already. This plug smells different than it used to. But I think just using the storm colors is going to work because this tone's already perfect. It's just a little too purpley. I just need more blue, I think. My UFO's done. Man, that's really close already. I'll get it. All right, I'm gonna go run down and grab my UFO real quick.
Do you have to stir, or is it okay?
No, it'll be fine for about 10 minutes.
If you have any other requests or questions that you want him to do.
All right. Actually, just suck the water out of the fingers and thumb here. Loud noises. All right. Once again, this is a 1000 grit from the Diamond Dust pads. And see how nice and uniform and consistent it is, not scratched up at all or not any kind of messed up, or you don't have those scoring lines or whatever else. Like, this is a true hard 1000 grit that's smooth, not all scratched up and beat up. So, love my Diamond Dust pads. All right. I'm really close, but I need a little bit more blue.
What's one of the most annoying balls that you've had to color match? I'm gonna say that motive thing.
Yeah, well, Altered Reality and Zen Silver. Just straight up impossible. All right, bring the. This actually looks a whole lot better trying to do it with the spotlight. So yeah, plop that over top. We'll plop it over top here, like directly over top.
Well, I can't go too.
Well, I understand. Well, yeah, but all right. This is what I'm working with right now. I blended some more blue in there. It's a little too blue right now, but I'm working it back in. It'll gradually get a little bit more purple. I use a really thin stirring stick because it takes a little bit longer to stir, but there's zero bubbles. There's a lot of people that just use the popsicle sticks, but that just creates way too many bubbles. This way I can stir it virtually as fast as I want to, and I don't get bubbles. We are very, very close on this. That actually might be just a hair too much, a hair too blue now. So again, there's what we're trying to match. So you see, I think this, yeah, and the color's actually showing better. Of course, on the screen it looks too blue, and where I'm holding it right now, it looks too purple. So, technology. This is really, really close though. I might need just a tick of red back in there. That is, and another thing that you have to watch for when you're plugging stuff is it will not harden exactly how it looks going in. And again, I think we've established that how it looks in the cup versus how it looks. So I think this is something I might start doing, is getting my paper towel out here. I think I just learned a trick last night. So I think I'll get myself because it looks really close in the cup, and then sometimes you'll pour it and it looks amazing, but then you go to cut it and finish it and it's like, hey, that's not what I poured in at all. That's disappointing. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm going ahead and get some on my stick and spread it around here a little bit, maybe a little bit more. So give me a little better idea of exactly where I'm at with the color. Might be a little tough to see. It's probably a little bluish still. I think you can see the blue is almost, it's almost closer to this blue down, but it's more purple. They take it over here. It's kind of interesting how color works, because as soon as I compare it to the purple, it looks too blue. As soon as I compare it to the blue, it looks purple.
That probably means it's right.
Yeah, it means if nothing else. Once again, this is kind of the rule of color matching, is if you can mix it, or match it if you can, hide it if you can't. And I think this is going to look really good when I pour it. The longer I look at it, the more I like it. And it's at least going to fit. I mean, this is just, you're just not going to see it. You're just not going to see it. This is kind of an easier one to do, because if you have like flat, bright colors like a ProMotion or like an Helios, absolutely impossible to match or even hide, really. You're just going to see the difference. Something like this where the colors are darker, whole lot easier to match. So this isn't that difficult of a plug match here. So what we're going to do, this is another Pro Shop tip, is using, let me see, that's a little too big. That's too big. Actually, I might just go ahead and use it. It's not that bad. I'm gonna have extra. So they make both round and oval plug dams. Some people use putty or clay or whatever, and it just annoys me. It just annoys me. Because whenever you use the putty or clay, I've seen way too many times where it'll stain the ball because it's wet, or it takes forever to build it up, and I don't know, it's one of those things where they think that using a plug dam is not artistic enough or something, and so they use plumber's putty or some kind of nonsense. This goes right on the ball. You peel the bottom of it, you stick it on the ball, it cuts off, resurfaces down, doesn't stain the ball, nothing. It's so much easier and quicker. See, I'm already done with it there. And like I said, they make oval and round plug dams, but there's never any reason ever to use a round plug dam, because you'll find out that when you use the oval ones, you're normally using oval ones for like the fingers. And so you use 1 or 2 sizes of the ovals and waste the rest of them. This is an oval plug dam. I just stretched it out to be a circle. So buy oval plug dams. You don't ever have to buy round ones. Doesn't make any sense. All right. Oh yeah. I like this. All right. So we're going to go on ahead and pour. God, I should have clipped this for Instagram. All right. Go on. Yeah, just
I was going to
hold
say,
it.
I can go get my phone if you
No.
want to do a video clip here.
No, that one's already still alive. That one's still alive and well. Back it off just a little bit. All right. See, that looks good.
Is this where we cue up the Justin Timberlake bringing sexy back?
Mm-hmm.
It always makes me nervous when it starts getting close to the edge.
Yeah. Nah.
I know you've done this 100 times.
And you say, why do you overfill it so much? Well, I will show you why I overfill it. Or I would imagine that most of, like on Instagram, people don't understand why they overfill it. But here, I mean, if I do not overfill this, then there's a flat spot because it's only going to go up. It's not going to go up to the height or the apex of the curve. It's going to go up to the top of where the hole is. It's going to level off. You can only fill it so full, and as the plug cures, it also shrinks. So, yeah, I'm going to
Oh, okay.
pick it back up.
Okay, you go for it. You're trying to do your thing.
So that's what we look like. And it's a little, because again, this is a phase 2. This is purple. This is not blue. It looks like it's blue through the camera. But either way, it matches. So you see that looks like that. Even though on the screen that I'm looking at, it looks just blue as hell. It's actually purple. But they match. That's what we're going for. So we are going to, and most of the time I've shown this part of the process, but I haven't shown like the cutting down, finishing, what exactly you do for that. So I'll probably do this again on Wednesday and show everybody how this finishes up. But you can probably see there are a few, and that's again, there's some tiny, tiny little bubbles that'll just gradually pop. But my stirring sticks don't put in a whole bunch of bubbles. So that's nice if you use smaller ones. And then the Thunder plug in general, the viscosity is perfect because it doesn't produce a whole bunch of bubbles to begin with unless you just really, whirlpool it when you're mixing it. And the bubbles, the viscosity is low enough, or it's loose enough that it allows the bubbles to float to the surface, but it's thick enough, or it's not thick so it doesn't trap them, but it's not like super loose and wet, and so it's just perfect viscosity. So, and there's really no reason to overfill it this much, but if anybody has done plug before and has gotten it to where it looked full enough and then it cured and shrank, and then you go to resurface, you go to cut it down and there's a flat spot, that pisses you off. So, and I'm gonna throw the rest of it away anyway. I don't like the use of plug cubes. What people will do is they'll make enough and then they'll fill it up to the top, and then if they have any left over, they've got those little ice cube trays that makes the little mini ice cubes. They'll fill the tray up with those so they don't waste the plug, so to speak. However, the chemical, once you mix this up, the mixture needs to warm up a little bit it needs to be warm, and then it needs to cool down. Well, when you put a bunch of plug cubes in the hole, they act like little heat sinks. And so they just suck all the heat right out of the plug and can tend to make it brittle, or you have kind of inconsistencies in the plug. Generally it works out, especially if you're just gonna drill back into it and put a slug in it or something like that. I don't like it though. I think it's a little trailer park.
What would you think about using them for like pitch plugging, maybe?
Pitch plugging is probably fine. There are a certain number of things, like if you're plugging like an 1 3/8 hole. But again, I think the biggest thing for me is I don't like them because they're little heat sinks, and I just don't like the way that the plug cures if you use the plug cubes. And maybe that's, there's probably some shops, I use them all the time, never have a problem with them. Like, well, that's fine. That's you. That's not me. And probably rolling their eyes about me and being uppity about it, or, but I mean, if you're not overly conceited and prideful about something, you're not a bowler. So this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules. All right. So now we're going to re-slug another ball. I do really like using tweezers to. Can anybody see what I'm doing? Oh, yeah, I can see what I'm doing, kind of.
Yeah, I can tilt it back up again.
So I do really like using tweezers for getting tape in and out. It just makes it super easy. And then all I'm going to do is just go ahead and line this back up and drill the slug out, put a new one in there. This was drilled when she had her previous oval width was 060 instead of 090, and that's just a width. So when we made her oval wider, we tried to just buzz out the other ones instead of having to try to line everything up perfectly and do that one extra cut and whatever else. We tried to just buzz them out. Well, that didn't work. It made the whole thing a little bit too round, and so we're just gonna re-slug them. Every once in a while, the slug starts to push back up a little bit. So we're just gonna take it out and put a new one in there. Also, I showed my little trick the other day of, these are straight up and down. And so when you put the glue in the thumb hole, all the edges here tend to just scrape all the glue off the side of the thumb hole and pool it at the bottom. And then you get it all over the tip of the drill bit. So what I do, actually, holding onto this is a pain, so I'm going to do it the way I normally do it.
Yep, go for it.
All right, so.
I would have laughed if you would have let go.
No, I was trying to stick it up in there, but yeah, so.
Oof, not focusing there.
Yeah, I don't know. So, see, that's more rounded there on the sides now, and then I did kind of enhance the vent slit there. So now this will allow the glue to get up in between the sides of the slug and the inside of the hole. All right, get me a beverage out. I had that already. Milk stout. Boulevard had like an old school pack that Angel found me the other day, and it's got some good stuff in it. There's one of these in particular, the Belgian style single, which is kind of like a Blue Moon, and then there was the milks. Where'd the other ones go? Up here. The 10-penny throwback ale is amazing because they don't craft beers. It's kind of funny how they make craft beers and stuff, and sometimes they lose like flavors of old ones, and this just tastes like it tastes like an old craft beer back when they kind of first came out. So this is just a...
Oh, is that the pack that I found at Aldi?
Yeah, this is a good old-fashioned milk stout that kind of tastes like a Guinness. So, Teal Badger. Check the questions before we get in here. Is there any?
There's been some chatter, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. Oh, okay. Did who just rip ass? I wish. Your fly's open? Probably is. I don't know. You're funny. You're concentrating on the wrong balls, bro? Probably. So... No, I actually used a bottle opener on my milk stout. All right, so we're going to, because drinking while operating heavy machinery is definitely encouraged. Don't demonetize me. All right. This makes this pretty easy because Angel's pitches are 0, so have to... All right, that looks pretty good. Go a little bit slow here first to make sure I got it lined up right, but then, like I said last night, the slug is softer than the ball is, and so if it's impossible to get it like perfectly aligned. And so the best thing to do is once you get started, once you get it close enough, then if you drill it out a little bit faster, the bit will want to divert more into the softer material. So it will tend to, if you go slow, and if you're off by a little bit, it's just going to cut where it's cutting. But again, the bit will divert into the softer material the faster you go. It's just a little trick. A little too far south. And this will get taken care of once I start drilling either way. If I'm, like I said, a little too far one way or the other. There we go. Perfect. All right. And once again, like I was talking about last night, this is, I'll go ahead and show you this too, because the Teal Badger is two-piece like the High Roads. So, see the cover stock, there is still just a hair bit of that old slug left in there, but that's fine because I kind of want it to snug up down there at the bottom anyway. Once you've slugged it once already, maybe twice, it gets a little loose. So you can see the cover stock is quite a bit thicker in the Teal Badger than it is in another ball, and so I say don't plug up into, or don't glue up into the cover stock. This I have to glue the cover stock, but I'm still going to do it, you know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch below the surface, so that it's not up there, so that I can get it out there away from the elements, so to speak. And most of the slugs fit so well, or they're designed to fit so well, that you don't really, the glue isn't really there to make the slug stick. It's there to kind of lubricate. It's there to kind of, where's this going? There we go. It's there to kind of lubricate the slug to get down in the hole. But as you can see, it's already been slugged once, and so it's a little loose, so the glue is going to be used in this case to help hold the slug in the hole, and that's why I didn't really want to scrape the rest of that old slug out, because it's going to help grab it a little bit, because if I'd have gotten the rest of that slug out, it would have been loose all the way down there. And so this, just leaving a little bit of that old slug in there and not cleaning that out, it might look like a lazy thing. It's actually there for a reason. If it stays there, there's any sliver of it left, I just leave it there, because it helps tighten it. It helps hang on to the slug without having to make the glue just do it all itself.
Would plugging and re-drilling a ball multiple times affect its motion on the lane?
It could, depending on if it's drilled all over the place or how many times it's drilled. It depends on the core too, because if you're, just like layouts don't really matter that much on weaker cores, because the layouts somewhat affect the way that the core is rolling, but they also, depending on where you drill the holes, that also affects the core dynamics. The weaker the core, the less dynamics you're going to have to adjust or manipulate or change anyway. And so layouts don't matter that much. Why is that up there?
I moved it when you were messing with that.
Redrilling it doesn't really matter. Drilling it in the first place doesn't really matter, but on something big and asymmetric, yes, it absolutely would matter. Depending on where you drill the holes, how deep they go, whatever else, you could make some really wonky stuff. So, how you oval out a slug, by the way. You don't move the ball, you move the press. Or I guess I am moving what the ball is sitting on. I'm not changing the orientation of the ball at all. I'm moving the tables that the ball is sitting on. This router bit is like at the perfect level of sharpness because when they're dead fresh, they will just cut the ball. So the best thing to do with them is cut plugs several times to kind of dull them up, or just do something. Find an old junk ball to just, you know, put it down into the ball in a couple different places to just take the edge off of that thing. This is at the point where now I can pulse it a little bit so I can get it closer to the surface, and it's not really sharp enough to cut the ball. It's sharp enough to cut the slug, but the slug's a lot softer than the ball is. And so if it's too sharp, it's just gonna, like I said, it's just gonna cut everything. Now, once it gets too dull, then you start getting to where this is, you start getting an edge on the side there, like the slug stays slightly upraised, and then you've got to really pull down on it. And then, of course, you use enough force at some point, and then it just cuts everything. But this kind of gives me the ability to kind of put it down there and keep it right on top of the ball, and just kind of gradually get them even, or get that slug all the way down without cutting the ball. So, I like it.
How many uses do you think it takes to get to those spots?
Usually it takes like 10, 15, 20 uses to get it down to where it's just at least not going to cut the ball, or it's going to give you some freedom. All right, now we're going to do the UFO. And we'll finish them at the same time. All right. Check the chat here real quick. Any tips on cutting down grips? So there was I referenced this yesterday, but there was a great, snap-off blade works, but then you got to hit them with a small bit of acetone. It's a great video by Chad Hauser of New Look Pro Shop, New Fusion Pro Shop. Maybe it's New Look, I can't remember. I gotta find it. No. Nope. Tag nabbit. I can't remember whether it's New Look or New Fusion.
It's New Look Pro Shop. It's NU.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But it's not. It's still not coming. There it is. No, it's Chad Monte Bowling. Okay, that's why I couldn't find it.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna drop this into the chat. This was a great video. That's basically what it is, but he's got a nice little technique that gets it done very quickly. It comes out looking nice. So, great video. Highly recommended. Even though his name is Chad Monte.
He named himself that, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Whatever. It's a good video. And it looks like he does good pro shop work. So if you're up, I think it's Alberta, Canada, which might be a bigger area than it might be a special something Alberta, Canada, I would imagine. But if you're Canadian and are in that general region looking for a good pro shop, it looks like he does really good work. So he can call himself Chad Monte if he does work like that. I will still make fun of him, but man, got whiter teeth than Rex Ryan. But I digress. Now this ball, however, is a 3-piece ball, so it's normal. Again, some of the slug didn't get all the way off, but again, that's perfect. But you can see that there's only, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 3/4, I think it's about 3/4 thickness on the cover stock, and then you get down into the filling material, and then the darker stuff down there at the bottom is the core. So I want to put the glue in the white stuff, basically. That's what we're shooting for, because it's less dense, more porous. It's going to accept the glue, kind of lock things in there a little bit better. That's more of a rule of thumb. Like I said, the slug doesn't matter so much. It does when you're re-slugging, not so much the first time, because it should be a pretty snug fit the first time. But this time, that, like on a normal slug, you're not just going to be able to drop it halfway down the hole. You're going to have to drive it most of the time. But on grips, you definitely want to be in the filler material. That will prevent the spider cracking at the top, around the top of the hole. Because once again, if you have the glue get into the pores of the bowling ball, and then it gets hot, cold, whatever else, the ball expands and contracts at a different rate than the glue does, and so the glue acts like water and concrete. Excuse me.
It always makes me nervous when you don't, like, you stand around and you talk and whatever else, and it's like, just put the slug in, put the slug in.
show you all another little trick. So I got going a little too fast and just scuff the ball there, which, I mean, if you do what we do, you know, whatever, really doesn't matter. Jeff Riggles actually intentionally does that for some reason. I can't remember what the reason is, but he intentionally does that. I just was going a little bit too fast, but for those of you that are in a pro shop, you probably already know the trick to fix this. But I'm going to show it to you anyway. Because drilling something for yourself and having this happen is a totally different story from like handing it to a customer this way. So, old 1000 pad. A little bit of water. Bevel knife.
Good.
So, I'm gonna very gently shave the grain down here.
Come on, back inside.
Make it as smooth as possible. Blend it just a little bit with the edges all the way around. And this, even if you drill your own stuff and this just annoys you like it annoys me, this is an easy way to fix it yourself. All right, shave the grain down. Old 1000 pad, lots of water. Lots of water. Just a little bit. All right, now you can't see any kind of line or anything. You see the patch where it's at. Wait a second, I can still see a little bit.
It's hard because there's actually a glare on the ball where it is, because that's where you have to light it.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have to react to scuff that whole ball. Now you're gonna have to react to scuff that whole ball.
No, I'm not.
The chat says otherwise.
Yeah. Highly doubtful. All right. So now it's just kind of, you can actually still see the cut on the edge right there.
He damaged my ball, y'all.
Oh, there we go. Now I can see it.
It's a good thing we have a spare bedroom.
Yeah. Now, anybody that works in a pro shop knows these things happen sometimes.
Well, I don't work in a pro shop. No, I'm just trolling.
All right.
The doggies want a treat.
Now it's gone. So
Miso, do you want a treat?
I'm gonna blend. I'm gonna go a little smoother,
Mistletoe.
a little lighter, just kind of.
Oh, she
Blend
was
it.
up on her bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Terribly bad dog. All right.
There you go. Good job.
A little bit of.
Yes, so go ahead, tinkle.
Whoop. Yeah, I would have dropped. Completely broken that. All right. So that's what we're looking at now. Gotten rid of it. Okay, hold this or put it over here or something.
Well, I didn't know if you were going to take this. So I was trying to keep this
No.
out of your way for the...
Well, eventually. Not yet. Step 2.
My poor ball.
Your poor ball that you're not even going to be able to tell what happened.
I know what you did. There's video proof. It's all over the world to see. Everybody knows what you did now.
Yep. And they're watching me fix it right now. Looks like it never happened.
You're just going to have to go buy me a new ball now.
Yeah. We'll get the clone, it'll be okay.
That one does look pretty. I really do hope they did. Since they called it something else, do you think that they would have tweaked either the cover or the core?
Maybe. But highly doubtful.
What? No, you can stay inside.
Okay. There we have it. How now, brown cow? All right. I'm going ahead and finish them up. Once again, Angel doesn't like a whole lot of bevel. So I do have to get down inside the hole a little bit with the buzzer to open it up just a smidge, kind of smooth off the inside of the hole. Whoa. What in the hell did she do? Oh, balls. What did I do? Oh. Okay. Somebody wasn't paying attention. It's been such a long time since I've had ball to plug over here that I forgot that there was a ball to plug over here, or a ball with plug in it over here. Yeah, it's fine. I just dropped the towel on it.
So is the towel the only thing that...
Yeah, the towel's the only thing that there's any problem with. Just I caught the towel with the, caught the plug with the towel. Yep. All right, we're fine. Just have to remember that there's actual live ball plug in there. All right. Screwing all kinds of things up tonight. All right, and these are ready to go. Very little bevel as requested. Hers are, well, you can see that. Pretty sharp. Yeah, you can see that one pretty good. Pretty sharp. All right, so now I'm going to finish off my UFO here. Now that these are done. Or actually, if you want to check them before I move them.
You keep your nose out of my food.
You bad dog.
It's got a texture thing to it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, so you can do your little sandpaper thing or whatever. But otherwise, yeah, it fits great.
Defect or something in the.
I mean, my piece of tape's going to go there, so don't stress about it too much.
Yeah. Old sanding disc. Works well. Cut off piece of a 4000 grit Aberlon pad. So I used the rough one to sand a little bit out, and then I used the 4000 piece to smooth it back up. Bang.
I don't know if this is on topic, but how do you feel about the IQ Pearl Ruby going in a bag with the Phase 2 and RST X1?
Yeah, they're not going to be. There's not going to be any overlap there at all.
Another one asking what my current axis tilt is.
You don't really have a whole lot of tilt right now. Actually, I'm going to move this somewhere else because that's going to be in the line of fire of the spinner now.
Said they were working on better. It says wondering if, or they have 30 degrees of axis tilt, and is wondering if I was in that range because they're working on better layouts for symmetrical balls. I needed some advice.
No, not really. When you've got that much tilt, you're going to be kind of spinny.
If you watch my the 6 month ago videos.
Yeah.
Yikes. I worked very, very hard at getting rid of all of that spin. Same person said that also love your channel. Happy to catch y'all live.
Oh, sweet. Yep. Hopefully I'm going to be doing more of these. So. Woof. Just a lot of the times I'm drilling stuff that I can't show off yet.
Yeah. If we have shop work after the fact, this is great. Or drilling for the handful of people that we do.
Yeah, it's more time to. It's more the time to actually have to just, instead of just buzzing through and getting the shop work done, having the time to actually do this while we're doing the shop work. So, like I did last night, I think that towel's dead.
Off topic, question mark. Supernova, your video review didn't feature you in it. Have
Yep.
you used one lefty? Do you use one lefty? My game is similar to yours. I'm a little softer, however.
No. Didn't get a supernova. Generally, I don't really need the big strong stuff. I just don't get a whole lot of use out of them. I think the DNA is going to be an exception. I think I'm going to use the crap out of that, actually. But I think I've taken to kind of polishing stuff up now, too, so.
No, Luke did not get a ghost lock.
No, I want a ghost lock.
Yeah. Yeah, if anyone finds one and wants to somehow make a trade or gift.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like a ghost lock, but at the same time, I got so much stuff downstairs that it's just going to sit on a shelf for a bit, so.
That's true.
So I would like to have one, but realistically, I wouldn't be able to drill it anytime soon.
We're not chasing one, but if one happened to be...
Yeah, if one happened to fall in our lap, that'd be awesome, but otherwise. All right. What? You dingus?
This is my dinner. You already had yours.
Dingle floof. All right. So, step 2 on the UFO. What, buddy? What?
He's talking to me. He wants this.
Violence, buddy.
He wants my burgers.
Once again, I do this, I add about a $50 sized amount of step 2. I start on the name logo side of the ball, so I've got UFO alert up. This whole water trick works really well. I like this. Sometime the polish or the compound or whatever dries gums up a little bit, and so the water keeps it loose, so you don't have to keep adding more and more polish. And do this for about 30-45 seconds, or really just until I get the level of shine that I'm looking for. What's the matter, buddy? I want it kind of sheeny. I don't want it kind of gloss. I don't want it like glossy. Yeah, that's sweet. Sweet. I'll do the...
We got somebody in here that has his local shop has a Nova and a Cosmos sitting. He can choose either one or potentially both, but it's $209 with drilling.
For both of them?
$209 per, like each one.
Oh, okay. That's still, considering the way the prices are right now, that's actually pretty good, so.
He has a Rubicon and a Phase 2 currently. Would one be better than another?
They'd all kind of overlap a little bit, because while the Cosmos is strong, it's kind of more on top of the Phase 2 a little bit. The shapes are a little different. They're not exactly the same ball, of course, but there is some overlap. And then with the Nova, it's going to be like an earlier and smoother version of the Rubicon. Now, both of them are great. I don't know if you necessarily need them with your current arsenal, but they are great balls. That's what trips me up a lot, is that there's a lot of stuff that I would use more that just doesn't quite make the bag, because there's stuff that's marginally better. So there's a lot of stuff that I'd really like to use that just sits, because I have stuff that's just a small amount better. All right. So from here on out, I'm done with the polish. I'm just going to keep rotating it. So I'm going to rotate it up to the Roto logo, and then just blend from here.
Yeah, I personally love the Nova and the Cosmos, and I have 2 of each stashed currently. Well, I should say I have 2 of the Nova stashed. We have 2 of the Cosmos also sitting on the shelf, but Luke also is claiming some too, So for us, they were great.
Yeah, so I mean, I love this ball. I don't really throw it. I love the Cosmos. I end up throwing the Fate more. I could go down and show you a bunch of stuff. I like my Absolute. It's just a little too flippy most of the time. Most of what I'm throwing right now, what I'm throwing is a Reality Check, a Fate, and now that I've got the DNA and the Ruby, those are going to get into the rotation. Because the DNA is like an earlier and smoother Ruby, or it's like a solid infinite physics. And then the Ruby is like a slightly earlier, smoother Fate. All right, so I'm going to flip this down to the serial number.
Our dogs don't really freak out around the vacuums because they aren't right next to them.
Yeah, they're used to the vacuum by now. They don't really like it. The big dumb white one doesn't really care. The other ones will they don't like it. They'll kind of get out of the way.
Yeah, they stay a good 3 feet away from it probably. And if it's on, they won't walk by. If the drill press is on, they won't walk by. They just don't really care for it.
All right. My UFO's all pretty now. And ready for a clone review. Ha, moi, ha, ha. And I will be doing the same thing with the clone. So even though this is not like factory polished anymore, even though this isn't factory polished now, I will be doing the same thing with the clone should we get it. I'm just not messing with stuff anymore. I'm just gonna reset we're just gonna reset the cover, even if it's just back to the same surface it came out of the box at. So we're just gonna straight up resurface everything now, which realistically speaking is a better way to do it anyway. Because then that way you can't, as I've said several times in the last few videos, you can't replicate factory surface. So anytime you, oh yeah, I guess I need to fix that. Anytime you have to resurface the ball, either because you get it plugged or whatever else, you cannot get it back to what it was at the what it came out of the box. You can't get it exactly back there. This helps break it in faster too, and
Casey Mattingly commented in here, says, I was hoping...
Casey's here?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I was hoping for a UFO conspiracy named ball.
Yeah, well, Radical already has that. Then they would really claim it's a conspiracy.
That's true.
What's Casey's new daddy ball now? Is that the Eternity? Now that we don't have the dark code anymore? My condolences, Casey. There's something else that he shot a big number with again the other day that is not the dark code, but is basically a similar to the dark code. I think it's the Eternity.
He says, I never use step 1 or step 3. Do you?
No, I just use step 2. I don't have any step 1. I do have step 3. And I do even have some React to Shine. Yeah. But step 2 is just the stuff.
Yeah.
I mean...
We got the other stuff, the step 3 and the React to Shine, not knowing if step 2 was going to be exactly like we could just put that on and be done, or if we needed to do more. After.
Yeah, I figured having this stuff available, like if we go to a tournament at some super dirty house, then yeah, we might do something crazy like that, but... God. Whoops. Oh, what?
Storm Dog likes the food smelling bowling balls.
Yep.
Whenever they come and we pop the box open, he will run over and start sniffing the ball boxes if it's a food. So we may not even know what they are, but it could be a parallax or a ruby or something, and he's got
What,
his nose
buddy?
over at the box.
What's my buddy?
Casey said, I just drilled another eternity pin down, and it lets me stay closer to the friction. I went 1,000 step 2 before I put holes in them.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do anymore, because this box surface thing they have going on. Not a fan. And just in general, it gets everything to the same spot, and I think that's also helpful. I know that Casey Murphy, or actually Wriggles, takes everything to 4,000, just so that he can actually get an accurate picture of where the ball really fits. Because if you have one ball that's factory polished, you have another one that comes at 2,000, well, that one that comes at 2,000 is going to shine up. And so, to figure out exactly where it fits, it's probably a good idea to just change the surface anyway. Dagnabbit. So. And all I'm doing here once again is just freshening up my thumb hole. I put a lot of games on this, had some tape in there for a while, it got a little gummy. And so all I'm doing now is just changing tape.
A storm dog would actually love if they came out with a pizza scented ball.
Is Casey still in there?
Yes.
Casey, anybody tell you look like Adam Richman from Man vs. Food? With a man bun?
Oh my gosh, you didn't.
Yeah. It's okay. Casey shoots honor scores like frickin' who's Brent Tishuk. Brent Tishuk is the other guy that it's like if he goes to league and does not shoot an honor score, like it's a failure of a night. It's like I think that he just kind of plays rock, paper, scissors with stuff, or just kind of does like a blind draw for his arsenal, and then because it's every single week it's with something different. Casey kept doing it with his dark code. Now he's doing it with the eternity.
Apparently he has been told X, he says so many times and all caps.
Yes. Every single time I see it come up, I'm like, oh man versus, oh wait, that's Casey.
Okay, I gotta, Astro, I'm gonna have to scroll back up to your original question.
Kapow, kapow. All right. This is why I normally fight resurfacing stuff, because I hate cleaning grips out. I hate cleaning the stuff out of the grips. However, this makes it a whole lot easier if you glue them in correctly, because then I can actually get around them and stuff.
Okay, and you just stopped talking for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, Astro had asked a little bit ago about an IQ Ruby and a Phase 2 and an X1.
Yeah.
Specifically, was trying to figure out if it would work with low revs and playing pretty down and in.
Yeah, I mean, any IQ, that's the thing, is if there's kind of interesting places like the TNT, I think is going to be great for strokers that just point it. Not so good for tweeners, they're going to be in between, and it's going to be just crazy for crankers. I think the IQ kind of fits in the same territory. It's really good for straighter players, but once you get into that kind of tweener zone, that's where you get into where, okay, well, if you're a tweener a little bit, and then you can get into, you can either roll a little bit too early or go a little bit too long or whatever else. But once you put an IQ once you get an IQ enough revs, then all of a sudden you're back in business. So I think it's kind of one of those that, yeah, if you're a stroker or a cranker, IQ is going to work better than for tweeners. And that's not saying it can't work for tweeners. It's just, I think in general, it's kind of in between on reaction a little bit.
Casey says he's also referred to Duff from Ace of Cakes as well.
Yeah, I can see that. With a man bun. What's my buddy? Matter, buddy? Yeah, this is so annoying. I hate doing this so much. What's my buddy? You whining? You a whiny buddy? Yeah. See, because it gets all dusty down in there, and then you can't really ever get anything all the way down.
I know.
What, buddy?
I know. Does that mean you need to go back outside? Is that what that is? You do? Alright. Do you want to go outside? Mistletoe wants to go outside?
I think we're good here.
Mistletoe prancing? Mistletoe
You ready,
prancing?
Meastles?
Yeah, okay. I'll let you outside.
And then, of course, I'm going to get back into my absolute here.
Yes. Okay.
This is my, again, this is kind of my hybrid vacuum grip kind of thing. So I use grips that are a little bit too small, like a half size too small. And I still use the 31/32 bit so that they fit at the tip of my finger. But then I take the bevel sander and I kind of funnel out the top of it so that it fits snug at the tip of my finger and at the knuckle. So, but this is also the correct way to glue grips in, by the way, because I've got it glued down there underneath the cover stock. That also leaves the top kind of flexible, squishy a little bit. They're very, very easy to get out, as you'll see in a second with my Absolute. Very, very easy to save this way. They're very comfortable because they're more form-fitting, so they do kind of feel like a vacuum grip, but they don't let your fingers move around quite so much. I can still go on ahead and get that, snug feeling all the way throughout. I can still dig a little bit. It's just the best way to do it. All right. This ball. Yeah. Yep, Kung Fu Panda. Would it be easier to resurface a ball with the grips removed and reinstall after done? Yes and no. The thumb hole is easy enough to take care of. Most of the time you just have to replace the tape. That's not that big of a deal. But removing grips, depending on my grips, probably yes. Because I can just pop them out and pop them back in. But the more times you pop them in and pop them out, I mean, you're eventually going to tear them up a little bit after a while. However, the resurfacing machine and the water and whatever else might do them just as bad. So again, here's my little, I glue underneath the cover stock so I don't ever get the spider cracking up around the fingers. There's plenty of flexibility, so it does, if my fingers are a little small, it does still kind of give me that vacuum grip kind of snug up. But at the same time, if my hand swells up a little bit, then I've got the flex here at the top. But like I said last night, you don't need a whole lot of glue to keep grips in. As a matter of fact, the more glue you put in there, it tends to get brittle and give up. So it also makes them very easy to get out. So if I do a review for something and I don't like the ball, I'm going to get rid of it, I can pop the grips back out and use it for another ball instead of, not like grips really cost that much, but.
Well, it depends on how many you end up
So
doing that
yeah,
with.
so I'm just going to angle the blade in the direction of the glue. It's going to wiggle until it pops.
How good are you at converting from dual angle to 2LS?
Pretty close. James has a spreadsheet, but
Yeah, I'm not sure if James is currently active, so what would a 5x4x4 be in 2LS?
so the difference with 2LS versus dual angle is that the first number in VLS is the pin, where the second number, or the only one that's not an angle, is the pin in dual angle. But VLS goes
No,
from like
2LS.
Oh, 2LS? Repeat the question then.
He wants a 2LS layout, but his shop only knows dual angle. So what?
Well, that's going to be tricky because the first two are virtually the same, but the val angle is a totally different measurement. So, and for them to complete, I mean, you could basically map it out and do it yourself and put it on the ball and say, hey, drill the fingers here. But where the val angle is measured a completely different, where it's measuring, you know, pin buffer basically, whereas the final measurement in 2LS is measuring distance from the pin to the grip midline. So it's a totally different thing. So it would have to be, you would get into minus numbers basically. So if they do dual angle, you're talking like minus 30, minus 20, something like that to get it in the right place, because the fingers, basically you want the fingers down here, and so the pin's right there on this ball, by the way. So most pin-up layouts kind of get close to the fingers, and even if they're like down, even if the fingers are down here, that's probably like a 20 val angle. Well, for two-handers, the fingers are going to be down here, so it's going to be like a minus 20 val to get the. So you might have to do some kind of conversion and figure out exact. So if you figure out kind of the reaction that you want in dual angle, then just say, okay, it's going to have to be a minus 20 val angle, which is going to be interesting to pull off, but they can do it. All right. Pop my other grip out here. Pop. Pop. Know how
Have
well
a
you
non-bowling question.
Sure.
What are your 5 favorite movies currently?
Oh boy. I don't know if you can see this at all.
Don't put it towards the center. Actually, put it by the
Yeah.
camera, and it focuses better.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, yeah, so these just came right out. Let me see here. I watch more series now than anything, but I did recently see Knives Out and Glass Onion that are really good. I don't know how in the hell that's the same Rian Johnson that ruined Star Wars. Because Glass Onion and Knives Out were hilarious. What else have I watched? I don't watch a whole lot of stuff. And when I do, it's series.
Yeah.
Like they have season 3 of Jack Ryan out. I watched the National Treasure series on Disney.
Cobra Kai, I think you've watched like 10 times.
Yep, Cobra Kai is good. Stranger Things. Wednesday on Netflix is really good. Last Kingdom. Yeah, I'd have to get in and actually look at stuff.
That's a pretty good list for things.
And most of the time, I just wait until they come out on Disney Plus or Prime or something like that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So once again, these were a little bit small. So that's the downside of having something that's so labor intensive, some like hand tooling after the fact. is that I don't want to get them too big. And so sometimes I just don't buzz the top out enough and the fingers end up a little bit too snug. And so I'm just gonna open the top of these back up a little bit more.
Justin C., you might get muted on the channel for that comment.
What?
It says looking forward to season 2 of Wheel of Time.
No, he knows.
I know, that's why.
Awful. Terrible.
He was virtually slapping you now, Justin.
Mm-hmm. Terrible. What's the other one that everybody... Like Witcher season 3 is about to come out. Andor was amazing. What's the other? Season 2 of something that just came out, or season 3 of something that also wasn't very good, but it's at least Willow. Willow was not good. Better than the Wheel of Time though.
It tried. There was a few times that I walked in.
Rings of Power. Willow had its moments. Wheel of Time had its moments. Wheel of Time was just overproduced. It's like one of those things. Wheel of Time's like a Call of Duty game where they try to fake you out with how nice it looks and whatever else to cover up the fact that they absolutely butchered the story.
Reed Casey's Mattingly's I'm gonna butcher that.
Canadian humor, Letterkenny and the spinoff series Shoresy. Yeah, Canadian humor or English humor.
Okay.
Like is just amazing. So that's why I think Knives Out is so funny because it's more English humor. And Daniel Craig sounds like the owl from the Angry Birds movie. I said.
You know, Angry Birds I could watch over and over.
Yeah, that and Zootopia. I could watch Zootopia repeatedly. Anyway, Pro Shop stuff.
Yes.
So the other extreme downside to doing this is that when it comes time to plug the fingers, I've got to drill all that bevel out. I do not enjoy it.
More often than not, it's one massive hole because the bridge gets so thin by the time he's done.
Yeah, it's close enough to one big hole. So still a little snug. Another thing, I drill out the pin on all my ASIMs. And so if anybody wants to see what that looks like, just in case you haven't seen that before, there's the pin. It's bigger on top of the up on top of the hole, and then it gets smaller down in there. The pin is basically, it used to be just filled up. It was just the hole from the rod that held the core in place while the cover was poured around it. But now it's obviously important to actually drilling the ball. And so that's why they kind of make it just a little bit bigger at the top. A little bit more identifiable, I guess you'd say. But yeah, this I like the way that this feels. There we go.
What are the big differences, if any, between the Wolverine and the Dark Moss?
Color. That's it.
Colors do react a little bit different on the
Yeah.
blade, so there's some that do see a difference.
Mm-hmm. I think the Dark Moss is a little bit stronger, a little sharper for people, I think, is what the general consensus has been. The Wolverine is a little longer and smoother, the original. All right. So, go ahead and glue these puppies back in.
Yeah, grips versus non-grips is just pure comfort.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's a comfort thing. Grips are generally a little bit softer, easier on your fingers. Some people they like the harder feel of the actual ball. They don't like the tacky, gummy, soft feeling of the grips. So once again, still focused on the background. Whatever. Yeah. All right, here we go. All right. So, once again, flexi tips. These things are awesome. They're tip extenders that go on the glue bottle, and so as the glue bottle naturally tends to glue itself shut, you can just go ahead and clip off the end of the tip instead of having to continue to clip the end off of the tip of the glue bottle itself. Plus, it helps you get deeper down inside the finger holes easier. So that's what I'm going to do.
Come back, miss.
I like gluing the inset first. Now I can't see what I'm doing.
Back a smidge.
Yeah. Hi, buddy. What you doing, buddy? Your happiness, buddy?
What does the Absolute smell like to you?
It's orange cream soda, so it smells like kind of a citrusy cream soda. But this is the other thing, is people have noticed, like, well, I think it smells like spearmint or some kind of mint or something. And we talked about this on a breakdown pair the other day, but root beer is actually made with spearmint. Believe it or not. So that's why if it smells minty to you, it's just a very minty root beer. So, all right. So got the insets glued.
Casey asked, what are your thumb pitches and are they different lefty versus righty?
No, actually, my fit is exactly the same left and right hand, believe it or not. But my thumb pitch is just an eighth reverse. Just an eighth reverse. Span is 4 5/8. Well, actually, it's lefty-righty. It's the same, but it mirrored. So my middle two thumb span is 4 5/8, and my ringed thumb span is 4 5/8. Yeah, stupid thing. My ring to thumb is 4 5/8, and my middle to thumb is 4 5/8 minus, or whatever the 32nd is beneath that. It's like 19, 30 seconds or something. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people joke about a bacon scented ball, but I'm really not sure how well that would actually smell.
Yeah. All right. So my comfortably snug. I still gotta work a little bit to get them down in there, but I did open them up a little bit, and so that my hand's a little swollen right now too. So
Which usually works in your favor, though.
yeah. Nope, that'll work out. So I got those opened up a little bit so I can throw that more often. And I think that that'll probably do it for tonight. We got some stuff re-slugged. I got my UFO alert back in business. I got the, not about this thumb. I have to redo that, but I got the fingers back in shape so I can start using this a little bit more. We finished off, we got this finished off, and I managed to not quite murder the entire thing. Hi, buddy. Hi. What are you doing? Are you sure? What? I know. Are you done? You're done. Are you woof? Woof? What woof? I say woof. You said woof? Come on. Come on. Come here. Up. There you go. I know. I know. Are you ready to be done? You ready to do other things? What do you think? Who's woof? You said woof? Hi, Tweety Bird.
On tomorrow night's a show, yes?
Yeah. Tomorrow night, Breakdown Pair, we will be back. Then we'll probably do this again Wednesday so that I can finish off, because that's what I've shown pouring a lot of this stuff, but I haven't shown finishing it very often at all. So we'll probably do this again Wednesday night. And I have some more stuff. I drilled a new IQ Tour to compare to the Ruby, and I got the grips the grips ended up a little bit tight in that one too, so I got to open up those grips. I got the thumb holes done on some of those other ones the other night. I think I got to open up the grips on my Night Road again too, because I really do like that ball. That's just I don't get to throw it a whole lot. Hi, buddy. What? Are you trying to tell me something? Woof, 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 woof. Up, up.
Oh, I want you. I don't want
Hi, buddy.
that.
I know. Hi, buddy. You know, hi, buddy. I know. You ready to go? Did you woof? Woof. Woof. I know.
I've been
Doing
here with you. I
a
don't know if it's
frustration. Yeah, let me, I'll catch up on the chat here for a second. So yeah, if anybody wants to ask any questions now that I'm kind of done doing stuff, just fire away. Yeah. So, yeah, White Dog is my dog's twin. Yeah, that's Storm Dog.
Yep.
So, I might dig back in the fridge for another tasty beverage. So, let's see here. Miss having a husky. Yeah, huskies are awesome. Yo, yeah. Talk to you later, Casey. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. Don't get to talk to people very often, so thanks for hanging out. Mint smell supposedly helps people focus. A known energy booster. Peppermint invigorates the mind, promotes concentration, stimulates clear thinking. One of the best scents for focus. Interesting.
Huh. Okay, then I want more mint.
Yeah. Hey, dang, Casey's got all kinds of reverse. Hey, stop it.
Storm Dog, what are you doing?
Doofus face.
What are you doing? Come here. Come here.
Yeah. James and I did a video earlier that's going to go up on his channel where we're talking about national selections. Jonathan and I'll probably talk about some stuff on the Breakdown Pair at some point too, but James is going to put up a video here pretty soon. He was over here earlier and we talked about our national stuff. We are going to nationals early this year. So I think we're bowling the 10th and 11th of April. Normally, the earliest I've ever gone before is like the first weekend of May. And here the last several years, we've been bowling like the last day or two of the tournament. So going very early this year. I don't know if they will frown on me putting a video out talking about my experience, probably, because it's USB-C. Oh, I do want to give a shout out to DH Bowling here, who sent me a hoodie a couple years ago. Unfortunately, they're no longer in business, I don't think. I think Darren put up something the other day, but...
No, somebody said in Discord that they actually gave you a shout out in, I believe it was their Absolute video.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, so... Darren Alexander's on Team Canada, and him and Haley Lundy had done a YouTube channel for a little while, but then the COVID thing happened and bowling got crazy in Canada. They had trouble getting stuff, they had trouble bowling alleys opening up, and so it was just too much of a struggle, and so they kind of, Darren's, I think Haley's still bowling too, but they've got a kid, and Haley's got a new hair. She's a hairstylist, and so she went in with some other people on a salon or something like that. So I think Darren still does some videos for the channel, but yeah, might have to.
Well, if they're back, then that might be
check it out
something
then.
to do a.
What are you doing, buddy? Hi, Pickles. Hi, Pig Dog. You Pickles? Come here, Pig. Aspen. Come here, Piggy. Aspen. Yeah, you're too chubby.
Yeah,
sweetie.
she's not gonna do it.
You're too chubby, sweetie. You're too chubby. You want to say hi? You do a terrify? You're a chonky pig. I know, you're a chonka pig.
All right.
Chonka pig? Okay.
So, yeah, I think everybody's...
Yep, I think we're caught up here, so. Yeah, go over in Shimwrecker Enterprises. So yeah, go over there and check that out, because we talked for probably 40-45 minutes about Nationals stuff, period. All things Nationals, about how we go about selecting our arsenals, and it depends on whether you're flying or driving, whether you're local, close, because if you're flying, most of the time people are limited to like 2 bags. But so we did, okay, well, what if we only did, at the very end of the video, it's like, well, okay, what if we were each only taking 6, versus taking 9 because we're driving. So we talked about a few different things. So check that out. I don't know when he'll have it up, but if you subscribe. Oh, okay. So he'll have it up Wednesday. So, and we will probably see you again on Wednesday to finish that up. Looks pretty good. See how it turns out anyway. See if I screwed it up.
I'm not sure when Johnny will be able to make it over to get it drilled.
Yeah. Doing a heck yeah. It's a little blue, but once I get it cut down and sanded off, it'll probably look even worse. So.
Such optimism.
Yeah. I just know. I just know better. No, it's going to be pretty sweet. So, anyhow, I think we're done here. So thanks everybody for hanging out. Oh yeah, old house, front half is synthetic, back half is wood. There's a house in Springfield, Missouri, where they had the PBA Springfield Classic. It's not the place that they bowled at, it's another place. What are you doing? Hi. What are you doing, buddy?
Storm dog wants attention.
I know, you're ready to be done, aren't you, buddy? Yeah. But anyway, yeah, they just went full synthetic, but it was the same thing. It was like the fronts were synthetic and the backs were Guardian. So what, buddy? You say woof? You say woof. 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 Are you sure? Are you sure? All right. We will, South Massachusetts. Yeah. Sweet. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We will see you tomorrow on the Breakdown Pair at 6. And then Wednesday, we'll probably, like I said, get back out here and do this again, because I do have some more stuff to do. Plus, we'll finish that off. And
it won't be as long, though, I wouldn't think.
No. And then on James, yeah, because that's probably going to be the gist of it. But on James' channel on Thursday, we're bowling each other in league, and so he's going to live stream us bowling league against each other. And I will probably be throwing the Ruby or the DNA.
And I think I'm next to you, so I think I get to do the trouble.
Yeah. All right, Pickles. You say bye.
You say bye. Does the pickles say bye? Pig, pig. It's okay, piggy. You're a nice pig, pig. You're the nice pig. And the mistle. Yep, all the puppies. All the puppies. All the puppies. You guys say bye. Hi, Tweety Bird. I know. You guys say bye. You ready to be done? All right. Storm, you're in the way.
No, we're good.
You're hogging the camera. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. We will see you later.